Welcome to CATtheMinion YouTube channel. My name is Teresa, but you can call me Cat. This is going to be one of my Hit the Deck reviews. So, this is going to be for an Oracle deck, and the deck that I'm going to be going over is the Work Your Light Oracle. So the reason that I bought this deck is because I saw a reader using it on his channel, and I saw I think it's just called Akasha in here. Yeah, it's just called Akasha in here. So hold on, I'm gonna get it out. I'm gonna get it. Camera. Actually, is that the cover? No, it isn't. Okay. So I saw the Akasha card here, and it looked like this dream or vision or whatever it was that I had of the Akashic record. So it's this big open hall. There's a window facing outwards, and there's water about, and it's not exactly the same, but it was similar. The only difference is that in my vision or dream or whatever it was, there's a big golden card catalog smack in the middle there. Otherwise it's pretty similar, and I was like, whoa, dude, even. So I went to get this deck, and it's very pink. It's a bit much for me. But I went ahead and got it because because I had another dream where I was pulling out tarot decks, and this was when I only had like one or two, maybe, I think. And in the dream I pulled out some cards that were pink, so I had to get these, and I'm glad that I did, because not only was the Akasha card very similar to what I saw for the Akashic records, but the first time I pulled for myself from this deck, it made me cry because it was really strong. So, and there's nothing against pink as a color in general. I mean, it has this turquoise as well, and it's just after this sort of like Barbie pink and princess indoctrination society stuff. I had to back away from the pink for a little bit. But since I've been making psychedelic artwork, pink comes in quite a bit, and in the appropriate places, it's totally fine. And it just happens to be in the energy of this deck. So in this deck, the pink tends to be more of a heart-centered place. And it's sort of up to it's sort of up to the opinion, really, of the creators, and then the interpretation of whoever's using it. But I do find the artwork on these to be kind of interesting. So I had to separate these out and put them in order, because I bought the sequel to this, the Starseed Oracle, and even though I didn't want to, my intuition instructed me to shuffle them together and make one turbo deck. So I've pulled out all of these cards, and those are going to be in a separate video later, because I have not used them that much. These ones I've had for like 2 years, so I'm pretty into them. But this one, I've only had for like a week, and I've only used it a little bit. But I'm gonna be using it as a blended deck, because that's how it told me to. So the Work Your Light Oracle is by Rebecca Campbell. The artwork is by Danielle Noel, and it's produced by Hay House. So unless I'm very much mistaken, every deck that I've gotten from Hay House is the same dimensions. It's a little bit wider and possibly a little bit shorter than what maybe a standard tarot size. So if your hands are smaller than mine, it might be hard to hold on to. They're not that bad to shuffle. They're just kind of Hay House cards tend to be kind of thick, so until they get worn in, it might be a little bit harder to shuffle. But I'll do a demonstration afterwards, especially because I have this brand new deck, and you can see the comparison. So it has a similar little tiny book that came in the box with the cards. There's a lighter version of the same image on here, and just a little things there. It has recitations and meditation questions on it. I haven't read this book since I got these, although I've skimmed through it and read from it during readings, but not for quite a long time. Maybe it might be a sort of like I kind of feel like I need to go back and read through some of the manuals again, just to see, to get a different perspective of how it was coming into the deck, and then to see how I use it compared with how it's described, you know, after using it for a long time after the thing. So the way that it's set up is that it's this deck, this one does not, but this one has suits in it. And the cards are alphabetical in the suits. They're not numbered, but I wrote the page numbers on it because I didn't realize there was a table of contents. But it actually just helped me put them in order. And I wrote numbers on the ones that I didn't already have numbered. So you'll see that mine have numbers on them. And it doesn't mean anything. It's just the page number if I want a quick reference where they are in the book without having to dick around with the table of contents. So the suits, confirmation cards, inquiry cards, action cards, activation cards, and transmission cards. There's 44 cards in this deck, I think. Did I read that right? 44 cards. Yep, and this one has like 53 or 63 or something. But again, I'm not doing that one right now. I just had to pull it out of there because I had it double stacked in here like this. So in the inside it just says you are the Oracle, and then the other side says the same thing. Description on the back. Come on, man. Got 5 kids to feed. Okay. Alright, so we'll start with the beginning of how it is in the book. So we have the ever unfolding rows, which is kind of what you'd see here along the perimeter. I think... I was going to say, I don't think these backs are directional. As far as I know, there isn't a way to tell by looking at them if it's up or down. But some decks, even though they're mostly symmetrical, you can still tell. Like this one, this deck, it's slightly different here and here, so you can tell. You can peep them whether they're up or down, inverted or not. It doesn't really matter with these cards, though, although sometimes when they're inverted, I think of them as like a confusion or a delay. So there's going to be a little, like a title and then a caption, and then there's usually more written in the book for each. Has like describing what the suits are, and then a little thing for doing a spread. So just so you can see it, this is what the pages are like. And then it just has either a confirmation here. Let me find one. There's an inquiry here as a question that's sort of like for deeper thought about what it's about. And where's one of the... Okay, so here's an action card, and it has this thing that you can do. There's some of them have recitations, and I don't know where the hell. Oh, work your light activation. I guess it's on the activation cards. You're supposed to hold it to your heart and say the thing. So I guess it's different from suit to suit. Yeah, so the activation and transmissions have little recitations, and the other ones have different other things. Okay. So I'll just sort of flip through them. I don't really... Well, if I have anything to say about them, I will. But so if the ever unfolding rows cracked open, it's happening for you, not to you. No. Wait, postpone, pause, and say no. And or. This card takes on a slightly different meaning for me what's in the reverse. Because I see this as sort of like a zip line thing. and it looks like it says on. So when the no card is inverted, it gives me these like other ideas about what it is. And then of course when it's upright, the steps kind of look like a train track. So for me, the no card has subtler other meanings besides just wait, stop, pause, postpone, and say no. And there's also this pyramid shape here. So take that as you will, but I like, let's say, alright. So we have the yes card. For me, threefold goddess. The mother, the maiden, the crone, perhaps. So we have the yes and the no. And these are, what is this suit again? Confirmation cards. Okay. And this is the last one of the confirmation cards. It says, you're already doing it. Stop overthinking. Keep facing your true north. I wanted to say fancying. There's sort of like a lot of superimposed images. It's just sort of like very layered with the photoshopping or whatever the hell they used to make this. So the second suit is inquiry cards. All right. So we have align your life, what is not aligned or needs to change. This is a little bit kind of like Eight of Swords energy here for me. All right. Answer the call. What is your soul calling you to do? Boundaries. Where do you need to establish better boundaries? This is a little bit Eight of Swords too. Although, well, yeah. Sometimes I use fingers as swords, but it also gives a little bit of like... Is it wands? Whatever. It might be wands energy too. Okay, so the crumbling. What are you clinging on to? I never really noticed the suits in these, but yeah, they are... If you pay attention to the suits, it makes sense. What are you clinging on to? It's interesting because the... how much time have I got on here? The Wild Unknown Animal Spirit deck actually ends up having 5 suits too. It has the 4 regular, like, earth, air... No, earth, air, fire, water, but then it also has a spirit suit, which is sort of like major arcana. I just thought it was interesting because this also has 5 suits, but they're completely differently arranged. So what are you clinging on to? The crumbling. This sort of secret garden situation. It's also kind of like the tower. Don't dim to fit in. How are you dimming your light in order to fit in? And again, the threefold goddess. And like a pyramid shape with an eye in it. It's third eye energy here. For some reason, this is giving me chariot energy right now, which I have not noticed before. So we have mirror. Mirror. Who or what is triggering you? And we have a little kind of Narcissus moment here. Priestess, how are you being called to step up and lead? Clearly the High Priestess. Star Mother, how can you mother yourself? Coming in with some Empress energy. Starseed, what lights you up? This kind of reminds me of the Fool energy in the Syrian Starseed deck. Because I think the Fool in that is actually called Starseed. And it's like a little, like, energy being coming down onto the earth. Okay. Trust the niggle. 52. What is the niggling feeling trying to tell you? Again, with this trifold situation here. It could end up being like the self and then like, or like the ego and the self and the inner child, or however you want to see that. This is giving me a little bit of hermit energy. Trust your path. If you knew you would be supported, what would you do? There's a person over here. So we have Warrior Woman. How have you answered your deepest calling? And this is sort of like Queen of Swords kind of vibe for me. Doesn't have to be though. So these are action cards. Break the chain, ancestral patterns, healing and rewriting the future. This could also be kind of hermity. Dance with life, do something to change your energy. So we have this duality going here. This card kind of comes up a lot. There's some moon energy here. I'm trying to think. This is sort of like if a Four of Swords was inverted, I would say. So we have deep replenishment, retreat, rest, and be held. This is like the Four of Swords upright. Kind of. Alright. 4 minutes, okay. Is that... I like how I'm holding these up this whole time, and I had it... Wow, it wasn't even friggin' in focus all the way. Let me just go through these again real quick, so if they weren't in focus, hopefully they will be. I tried to focus it with my friggin' thing beforehand. But you know how that goes. It's hard to be the cameraman when the screen that I have to look at is like 2 inches in diameter. And what prompted me? Oh, because I was checking the time. There. Hopefully those are slightly better focused. And do the best I can on this channel, and that's really all we can deal with at this point. Alright, so where was I? Okay, get grounded. Empaths, highly sensitives, connect with nature. The initiation, rite of passage, crossing the threshold. Inner temple. Oh, that's the cover. The inner temple. Devotion, tune into the portal of your heart. And the sort of duality here. These kind of remind me of the Chariot. But the Chariot isn't going anywhere. It's like pulling you in. And it's weird because you'd think of the moon as being in the waters, the heart in the waters, and the Chariot, which is these figures here. But again, it doesn't have to be. It's just something that I think about. So we have leap. You go first. The universe will catch you. Obviously, the Fool energy here. Are these action cards? Okay, I'm still in action cards. Okay, so we have play. I guess that's kind of in focus. Have fun, celebrate, don't be so serious. We have a mermaid and a cocktail glass here. Maybe a little bit of Six of Cups energy. And Three of Cups. Share your voice, come out of the cave, persecution, expression. Kind of Seven of Wands, actually, there. Ow, my thumb hurts. Sisterhood of the Rose. Is this the new suit? Yeah, this is still part of that one. Still an action card. Beauty and devotion, priestess, mystic, and teacher. So it's kind of like the high priestess again, but perhaps also a little bit of magician there. Some other stuff. Soul family, call in your tribe. You don't have to do it alone. I mean, this is sort of like mirror image, but it's the whales kind of give this like deep, ancient knowledge kind of stuff. Sure. Oh, okay. So this is the last action card. Take a break. A life's work, not a season. Get off the treadmill. There's a person down there. And a moon. So more of that Four of Swords kind of energy. Or a Nine of Wands inverted. Okay, so this is activation cards. My wrist crunching. The Age of Light. You've been training for this for lifetimes. Kind of like Ace of Swords. So we have Anna, grandmother of Jesus, seeding the light, laying foundations, divine plan. This card kind of throws me off because I tend to be slightly anti-religious, but no matter it does like it whether or not you adhere to religion, this is more of an archetype than saying it's specifically this spirit. It's like they're sort of setting up this it's sort of like the creative flow that leads to higher consciousness. If you think about it, it's sort of like it's like splashing a rock in the water and getting a wave pattern, and then splashing another rock in the water and getting a bigger wave pattern, and then like the third rock is like a disco ball, and it's not really like water, if that makes sense, in terms of like what she's supposed to represent. Hopefully that made sense. So we have awakening, energetic upgrades, a new way of being, integration. This is more like the Hanged Man. Birthing a new age, birthing new creations, dreaming a new world into being. This is another card that kind of reminds me of the Syrian Starseed Oracle, although I couldn't say which card specifically. Oh, my arm. Council of Light, divine orchestration, helpers in the subtle realms. There's a card in the Mystical Shaman Oracle called Council that has a similar vibe. These are like religious looking figures, but it's just essentially we're dealing with interdimensional beings, whether they've incarnated or not. But it's sort of like people used to worship these sort of higher dimensional beings. They're like, if they were able to come into the vibration of people on, like, in the material world, people would be like, oh my god. But it's sort of like, there's a whole quorum up there helping you out, so call them up on the phone, y'all. Okay, so we have the Great Gathering. It's all coming together, intuitive hits, and Soul Tribe. Some of these cards kind of play off each other. They're sort of like a ramping up. This is like, the whales, and then the last card, and moving in the ancestors and all that. So we have Imrama. Where are you being called to journey to? Still not sure what Imrama is, but it's probably on me for not looking it up. This looks like one of those, I think is it in Syria or is it in Jordan? They've got these cliffs where they have these really intricately carved like churches, kind of. Temples, there we go, that's the word. Intricately carved temples. Carved out of the living rock, as they say. And that's what that looks like. I want to say it's in Jordan, but I feel like that's wrong. There's a person here, too. And some megaliths. Oh, sorry, I'm yawning, I'm tired. Okay, so we have Keepers of the Earth. You are not alone. Ancient ancestors stand beside you. There's cards that are similar to this in the Mystical Shaman Oracle, too. It's like tapping into not only, like, spiritually the ancestors, but, like, it's like using your DNA as Morse code. Pillar of Light, your vibration is rising and you are the oracle. There's a person back there. Protection, call back your power, cut the cords, soul retrieval. Another kind of Eight of Swords type of card. Transformation, Things are changing at a cellular level, deep healing. This could be one of the facets of the death card. DNA upgrades. And the last activation card is Unbound. Releasing soul patterns, contracts, and past lives. This actually kind of reminds me of Judgment. I have not noticed before. So these are called transmission cards. So we have Akasha. That's the one that I showed at the beginning. Your guidance is divinely guided. A little bit redundant, but okay. So then we have Lemuria. Creating heaven on earth. It's happening. So Lemuria is supposed to be the like pre-Atlantis advanced civilization rising up and sinking out of the water. And the battery's dying. Hopefully it'll last long enough for this, but it probably won't. We have Mintakan, longing for home, belonging the original light workers. Now this longing for home is like the Four of Cups in the Syrian Starseed deck. It's a similar vibe. So I wasn't sure what Mintakan was, or Mintakan, whatever. Probably mispronouncing it. But this deck, I believe, if I read it correctly, is one of the planets in the Orion system, or it's one of the stars of Orion's belt, something like that. And I was like, oh, okay, that explains a lot. So anyway, longing for home, belonging the original light workers. Galactic connection there. Why does it feel weird here? And then we have the last card in the whole deck, Pleiades. Double mission, channeling and uplifting humanity. So this card didn't always make that much sense to me, aside from the like beaming down kind of thing. Or like beam me up, Scotty. This deck, however, went over it a little bit more. The double mission is like upgrading the earth around you, but the channeling thing is like doesn't quite make sense here for me. But in terms of what it said in that deck, the double mission is your own soul growth, and then specifically on task to expand earth energy. So it's like, no, you can't just go and sit in the corner and play until your soul gets bigger. You have to come in, you know, do some public, like, community service. There we go. All right, so that's the Work Your Light Oracle. I think I mean, it's mostly just to show the cards and to flip through it and just sort of talk about it a little bit. But it's kind of weird because I don't really have anything to say intently as I did about the tarot cards. But the meanings come out related to other things a lot more deeply when the cards are in play. So even if I didn't make it sound that exciting, if you liked any of the images, then I would recommend getting it. It can be a very powerful deck. And again, there's more information in the book if you want to read it. It'll give you some more insight into the cards. Except for the yes card, because it only just says yes on it. So I do recommend it. I find it very useful. So let me just do a quick shuffle demonstration. So this, not so bad because I've been shuffling them for a while. You can get a good thing on it, and they do go sideways if you angle them well enough. Kind of bend them back the other way, but there we go, that's better. So they're not too bad. They tend to be thick and a little stiffer. This is a brand new deck, cut the same way, and you will see that it's quite a bit tougher. It's not quite broken in yet. they have a lot of smack to them. So it takes a while to get them broken in. It might be stiff. Depending on how big your hands are, it might be a little hard to deal with at first. Now, additionally, with these two decks together, because these cards are thick, it became really difficult to shuffle, but I was like, alright, I'm going to listen to my intuition and get them in there. So, they do kind of go together. I haven't used it together yet, but I'm going to. So I was told that they have to be a set. There we go. So that is the Work Your Light Oracle with a little sneak peek of the sequel, which I will be going over separately later. These go in a different box. Alright. So if you'd like to order a tarot reading, the list of readings I have and how much they cost is going to be in the description box. Let me fix this a little bit. Come on, battery, don't die on me now. I'm almost done. Going to be in the description box underneath here. If you'd like to donate to my channel, it's PayPal, Cash App, or Venmo. I already said the readings are listed below and how much they cost. I've got actual art items on Etsy, like this, drawings, paintings, a couple of plushies, and etching, some other stuff. So those are on Etsy. And the chapbook packs. Don't forget about the chapbook packs. They're like synchronicity stimulus packets. So 3 or more items, 17% off with that coupon code. If you go through the link tree, it should pop right in there. You can email me, follow me on Twitter, other social media. Coloring books over here on Amazon, dark poetry. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, comment, check out my playlists tab, my discussion tab, and stay groovy, and we'll see you later. Bye.